Hey, my name is Sean. This is the deck description for Naya, a deck that is very similar to Blue Pod or Blood Pod, except it features Jessica in the command zone as an infinite mana combo. In this video, I'll go through a few quick description of the deck, run through a few sample hands, and just show off the deck in general. There will be no deck gameplay video due to the fact that I'm working on a deck with the new Red Spoiled God from Kaldheim. So, thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoy. Okay, let's get into the deck description. So we have our two commanders, Jessica and Cedar Kondo. Jessica's going to be the one we mainly aim to cast, and Cedar Kondo not really. Flanking does allow us to get in some more extra damage, and the ability for our creatures with power 2 or less to not be blocked a little bit more allows for some additional damage. And the main comparison is Tana and Timna, the Blood Pod, or you might say a Blue Pod with Thrasios and like Bruce. The main difference is that we remove the fourth color, either the blue or the black in this kind of Naya-based deck, and we exchange it for Jessica, who allows us to have an infinite mana outlet in the command zone with our creature-based infinite mana combos, so we don't have to rely on a long birthing pod-based combo where we go through multiple creatures. We just have to get 2 creatures onto the battlefield, and then we can win from there. And also, she allows us to kind of control the board a little bit more. We don't play many removal spells. We play a lot of creature-based stacks pieces, but there will be some creatures we will have to remove, so Jessica allows us to remove them with her -X. And then her 0 allows us to force through some additional damage against sort of the ad naus players to slow them down and make their ad nauses and worse. And we have our first combo, Dockside plus Emil is the best version of it, and then Dockside plus Tumor Sabertooth. Dockside plus Emil, if you can generate 4 mana, you can go infinite with Dockside, and you can infinitely blink Dockside repeatedly, and then generate 4 treasures each time, so you end up netting 1 treasure. And then you can cast Jessica for an infinite amount of times and deal infinite damage to each of your opponents. And then Temur Sabertooth is the same thing, except it's a little less effectively. You have to be able to generate 5 mana. You pay 2 mana to return Dockside to your hand, then you cast it, and as long as you're netting 5 treasures, you can infinitely do this to gain you 1 mana, and then cast Jessica infinitely times to win. Then we have our backup winning condition, Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. Again, another thing we can target with Birthing Pod, and then Village Bellringer, which the main reason we play Village Bellringer over the other Kiki Jiki targets is that it actually can work as an infinite mana combo with Emil. If we're able to generate at least 4 mana through like creatures on the battlefield, and we do play a decent number of mana dorks, then we can infinitely blink Village Bellringer, infinitely tap our creatures, and then generate 4. If we're able to generate 4 mana each time, we can able to go infinite on mana again through Emil. So Village Bellringer provides both a Kiki target to win with and an additional infinite mana combo that is definitely harder to put together, but still possible. And then we have how we're going to get to our combo. Birthing Pod, the namesake of the deck. Pretty powerful. If we can get this out on turn 3 or turn 2, it's really good. And then we can just start sacrificing away our mana dorks to move up to 2 mana, then to move up to 3 mana. And then we have Imperial Recruiter. A lot of our combo pieces are 2 mana or less, so cards like Imperial Recruiter, Recruiter the Guard can search for those. They also can search for stacks pieces to put onto the board. Because we aren't in blue, so we don't really require a lot of on the stack interactions. We want to be stacking out the board a lot. Then we have Finale of Devastation. We have the X-based green tutors that put onto the battlefield, like Court of Calling, and then we have things like Worldly Tutor, Gamble, that kind of stuff also. So we have a decent number of tutors. This is one of the problems with the deck being Sans Black, is you don't have access to as many tutors, but you do have access to an infinite mana combo in the command zone, so it makes it a little bit easier to combo off. And as I said, we want to be getting our combo out early, and we also want to have mana dorks for a second reason, because they provide sacrifice. They provide things we can sacrifice. So we have Birds of Paradise and Bloom Tender, both at the 1 and 2 mana slot. They provide us with both additional ramp. Bloom Tender, obviously, for each color among permanents. We're a 3-color deck, so we're going to add up to 3 mana. And Birds of Paradise can add 1 mana of any color. So these provide us with additional ramp that our deck needs, and it provides us with a card we can sacrifice the Birthing Pod to search for one of our combo pieces. And then obviously we play cards like Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, Mana Crypt, these zero mana artifacts that just allow us to ramp art a little bit faster. And then the rest of our deck is kind of filled out with the stacks pieces, and I'm just going to just have 3 here. Dragon's Magistrate locks all of our opponents out from casting their commanders. Sanctum Prelate, we can choose any number, and then non-creature spells with the converted mana cost equal to the chosen number can't be cast. And then Linvala shuts down a lot of our opponents' decks because activated abilities features your opponents can't be activated. Shuts down decks like Thrasios and stuff like that. And yeah, from here the rest of the deck is kind of filled out with a lot more stacks pieces, just some more high-value creatures that have ETB triggers, which work with Birthing Pod and with Emiel. And then we have mana rocks, mana dorks, and lands. So I will get into a few sample hands here. There will be no gameplay video due to the fact that I'm trying to build a deck with the new red commander that just got spoiled today. Let's get into the gameplay. Okay, let's get into the first sample hand here. See what we get. So yeah, we have turn 1 mana dork into potentially a turn 2 blood moon if we'd like. I don't really think so, just due to the fact that our mana base will not be that strong. But if you're playing against 4 to 5 color decks, yeah, turn 2 blood moon is always extremely good. We'll drop for turn 1, we get a Linvala. Probably going to play this. We need to get a Savannah most likely. Put it into play. Shuffle our library, and then cast a Llanowar Elves. Next turn, we draw a Swords to Plowshares. This is really where it comes down to being matchup dependent. I'm just going to play this untapped. But if you feel like that your opponents are playing decks where they would be extremely punished by a Blood Moon, definitely play it. We will not have access to red mana or to white mana at the moment, but we will have access to both green and red. I would say, unless that's the case, play this Arcane Signet, and you can hold up a Swords to Plowshares, and on the instance that someone you think might be able to combo off this turn, you have Silence up also. Next turn, draw an Aura of Silence, another stacks piece that kind of stacks against artifacts and enchantments due to the fact that we play very little of them. But if you haven't decided to play Blood Moon, I would just say play a Linvala here. Linvala shuts down most other creature-based strategies and provides with an attacking 3/4 flyer, which allows us for good blocking and additional and attacking. So yeah, I'll probably move on to one more turn. And yeah, we have a Beast Within again. So now we're in a spot where we could cast a Blood Moon. We're in a pretty solid spot. We could cast one of our commanders, most likely Jessica, if we need to move some creatures. We have locked our opponents out a little bit. We have Aura Silence to lock them out even more. We have Regrowth to put back into our hand anything that we need to. And yeah, so we'll restart this. As I said, a lot of stack pieces are played. This is going to be a keep. We can turn 1 Jessica's not the greatest, but we do have. If we hit a land, we have a turn 1 City of Brass into Mox Diamond and Arcane Signet. So we'll keep this, drop return and not hit a land. I would say just play this, discarding this, and move on to next turn. Yeah, this was a risky keep, and this is a good hand. I like to show that this is not a hand you should have kept because I kept a 1-lander, and yeah, extremely punished for keeping a 1-lander. We're just gonna restart. Especially if that's your first 7, definitely not worth risking it. And then this is a way better hand. We have turn 1 Mana Crypt into potentially a Collector Roof. Obviously, it shuts down our Mana Crypt. Or we have turn 1 Jessica if our opponents have played like 3 Mana Dorks. It's definitely worth it. Drop return. Runic Armasaur, good stacks or good draw engine in this deck. So I'm probably gonna potentially play the Mana Crypt if you think there's anything worth Beast Withinning. Move on to next turn though. Draw a Thalia. You have a few options here. You can cast a Thalia, one of the best stacks creatures in the game. And then I would say potentially you just do this, tap, and then you just use the other floating to cast a Collector Roof. Obviously, it's just done our Mana Crypt, but it also shuts down all of our opponent's mana rocks, which is pretty powerful. And then we have Thalia that attacks our opponents even more. Next turn, we draw a card. It's a Priest of Titania. This is shut off, so we cannot activate it. We got to make sure we do our triggers, so lose 3 life. And then we will cast a Runic Armasaur. Or then we'll just pat. We can't cast a Runic Armasaur. That's my mistake. Probably just attack here, tap and tap. And that's going to be the end of this video, really. Didn't really get to show much combo pieces here, but the goal of the deck is to kind of stacks out the board really slowly. If we definitely have an early birthing pod, that's definitely worth it, because that allows us for a lot of value. Yisan the Wanderer Bard can do similar things to that. And so, yeah, that's going to end this deck description video. There will be no deck gameplay video because I'm working on a deck with the new spoiled red commander that came out today. And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and goodbye.